day, everyone. I'm your host, MC, the Corporate Heart Guide. Today's episode continues our series of The Blueprint of a Heart-Led Leader. Today's episode is titled Shifting the Field. The future work begins in the heart. Welcome to Fluff in the Corporate Space by Saffron Conscious, the podcast where we reclaim the very things corporate culture often dismisses: feeling, softness, joy, empathy, and heart. You see, fluff has become a dirty word in many organizations. It's how things like kindness, vulnerability, and presence get brushed aside as irrelevant or weak. But in this space, we know better. Today, we begin with something deeper than any strategy, any trend or toolkit. We begin with the field. What is the morphogenetic field? The term morphogenetic field comes from biology. It refers to an invisible energetic pattern that shapes how things grow. Rupert Sheldrake, a British biologist, extended the concept into systems and consciousness. He said, "Every action, every thought, every emotion contributes to a field of memory and energy. And that field, in turn, shapes how new patterns form." In other words, the way we show up, even silently, is shaping the unseen architecture of every meeting room, every boardroom, every workspace. If your workplace feels cold, chaotic, hyper-competitive, or fake, it's not just the policies or people, it's the field. And here's what most corporate manuals never mention. The field is real. It lives, it remembers, and it can be shifted. Let's talk about the name of this podcast, Fluff in the Corporate Space. Not because it's silly, not because it's superficial, but because for far too long, everything that lives in the heart, compassion, softness, intuition, emotional truth, has been labeled fluff and pushed to the margins of leadership. But here's the reframe. What if that fluff is actually the core code of a thriving workplace? The real problem isn't the fluff. The real problem is performative culture, when we pretend to care but never change the atmosphere. Fluff isn't the lie. Performative leadership is. So we reclaim fluff. We ground it. We say, this matters because hearts matter. People matter. Energy matters. A heart-led leader isn't just nice or emotionally intelligent. A heart-led leader is a field shifter. They are tuned to the emotional and energetic atmosphere, spoken and unspoken. And they choose to shift the frequency from competition to collaboration, from fear to trust, from burnout to belonging, from power over to power within. How do they do this? 1, through presence. Presence before performance. They walk into a room and feel what's needed before they speak. They know their tone, their silence, their gaze, even their breath sets the tone. They don't rescue or perform. They sit beside. They meet the moment. Because this work is not about big speeches. It's about daily choices of coherence, and care. You've probably heard me say this quote many times. In the past, jobs were about muscles. Now, jobs are about the brain. But in the future, jobs will be about the heart. That future is not distant. It's here. It's us. My daughter says it's a second away. In this post-performance world, people don't just want to earn. They want to belong. They want to contribute from the inside out, not just tick boxes on the outside. So when we shift the field, we are not being soft. We are activating the conditions for wholeness, for wellness, and real innovation. If you are listening now, chances are you already know. You already sense what the old ways cost us. You felt the weight of being told to shrink the soul in order to survive the system. So here's your reminder. You are not fluff. You are not too much. You are the technology the future requires. Every meeting you open with presence, every soul you see behind the role shifts the field. And the future doesn't begin someday far away. The future is now, and it begins in the heart. This isn't just a poetic turn of phrase. It's a call to remember what we have forgotten. In a world increasingly driven by speed, algorithms, and surface success, we've long outsourced our inner compass. But the heart, not the mind, is the original technology. It is the seat of coherence, the generator of electromagnetic resonance, and the bridge between the seen and unseen. To say the future is of the heart is to acknowledge that the systems we need cannot be designed only in boardrooms or built with code. They must first be felt into being, envisioned through connection, birthed through inner alignment, and sustained through integrity. This is heart wisdom, the capacity to lead from presence, empathy, deep listening, and ancestral remembrance. Why the heart? Because the heart holds the blueprint of wholeness, because the heart is how we plug into the morphogenetic field. That invisible grid of information and resonance that shapes culture, that shapes systems and collective behavior. Because when we shift from within, when we heal our fractures, reconnect to our values, and move from clarity rather than fear, we change the field around us. This is not metaphor. It is energetic reality. This is the foundation of heart-led leadership, not soft, but sovereign. Not emotional reactivity, but emotional wisdom. Not escapism, but embodiment. And so we say, the future is now, and it begins in the heart. Because when you anchor your leadership here, you no longer replicate the broken templates of the past. You become a transmitter of a new frequency, and the field begins to organize itself around your coherence. That is how culture shifts. That is how futures are seeded. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Fluff in the Corporate Space. Until next time, stay present, stay brave, and shift the field. Remember, like water, flow with ease and gentleness, and let's continue navigating the currents of our own lives. Till next time.